Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is Amar bin Salim and I represent.
I think we somehow lost Amar. Is it so?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So, Assalamu alaikum everyone. I am Shakil Sadiq Jaja. I am Associate Professor of Operations and Supply Chain Management. Also, I'm currently Director of MS in Supply Chain and Retail Management and Director of Executive MBA at LUMS. It is our pleasure to run this webinar, which is primarily focused on MS in Supply Chain and Retail Management. The goal of this webinar, like all other webinars that we run in this time of the year, is to make you familiar with our various program offerings. And this webinar will focus on MS in Supply Chain and Retail Management. So typically, Amar runs the opening part and Amar is back again. So Amar, over to you. I just introduced myself and why we have gathered here, and then you can resume from
Thank you so
there.
much, Dr. Jaja, for filling in. I'm really sorry for मुझे एक pop-up आ गया and then I had to click on it and just got me out of this.
Okay.
Everyone, apologies. Once again, welcome to the second day of our Knowledge Week for Suleiman Dawood School of Business. You would remember that yesterday we connected with you for MS Accounting and Analytics. As Dr. Jaja would have explained, today is our program for MS Supply Chain and Retail Management. Tomorrow, inshallah, we're going to see you for Business and Public Policy. The very next day, we'll connect with you for Healthcare Management and Innovation Program. And the first leg of this webcast series for Knowledge Week will be concluded on Friday when we'll connect with you for Technology Management and Entrepreneurship Program. And we'll talk about the MS degree being offered for the MST, for the TME program. Then, inshallah, next week, starting from Tuesday, we'll again connect with you. We have multiple webcasts planned for you till Friday next week. So make sure you're also joining us there if you are interested in those programs. And the schedule is widely available on our social media platforms. As you would already know, Dr. Jaja have already explained, all of these programs are offered at the Suleiman Dawood School of Business, Sdsb, as we like to call it, which is short for Suleiman Dawood School of Business, which is the first and also the only business school in Pakistan to have scored the AACSB accreditation accolade. So that kind of, clubs us with the top 5% of the world's business schools. Now, I'm again very, very honored, very privileged to introduce Dr. Shakil Jaja, Mr. S.N. Umar, and Ms. Rabil to you. Dr. Shakil Jaja is he's an associate professor at Suleiman Dawood School of Business, but he is also the program director for the Supply Chain and Retail Management program, and also the Executive MBA program. So you are going to see him again when we are going to do our webcast for Executive MBA. Mr. S.N. Umar is the executive in residence for the MS Supply Chain and Retail Management program at LUMS, and he's also director of operations at Masood Textiles. Ms. Rabil is a current student of ours at LUMS, and she is enrolled in the MS Supply Chain and Retail Management program here. So many, many thanks to all of you for joining us today.
Thank you, Amar.
Thank you, Amar.
Most welcome, Dr. Jaja. जैसे हमेशा हम करते हैं, again I'm gonna come to you and I'd request कि आप business school का थोड़ा सा introduction दे के थोड़ा सा हमें MS Supply Chain and Retail Management program को भी introduce करवाएं, and also कि हमने ये introduce करवाया क्यों है, इसके बारे में थोड़ी सी बात कीजिएगा kindly.
Thank you, Amar. So business school, Suleiman Dawood School of Business, as we call it, Sdsb, is the oldest business school in LUMS, and also pioneer in the way we deliver our MBA program, executive MBA program, and our pedagogy, which is based on experiential learning, and case-based pedagogy, which is more discussion oriented and involves or stimulates students through discussions in the learning process, is known in the country and also in the region. So in last maybe 10 years or so, we have been hearing input from the industry that we should be offering some specific and specialized programs in certain areas. One of those areas is supply chain and retail management. So that's why we opened up a program among other programs at MS level that specialize in different areas. MS supply chain and retail management is one of them. There are other programs also, as Amar was earlier mentioning. So that's about the school and about the transition from a certain type of pedagogy and program portfolio to MS program portfolios. So this is Amar, as you can I think link the audience with our previous program portfolio and also how the MS program is placed in the program portfolio. I think I answered your question.
Of course, you have, Dr. Jaja, and I'm sure there are many questions that I'm going to come back to you for. And also, before I go to SN and ask him about how this program meets the requirements of the industry, I'd like to remind our audience that this program and these webcast series are basically being done for them, for the audience, for the people who are considering to apply to any of the programs. Today, it's just supply chain retail management. So if you have any questions, आपको कुछ suggestions हैं, या if you are stuck anywhere during the application process, or even if you just want to learn how your career could look like, what are some of the companies that our graduates are working at, this is your opportunity to converse with us, to converse with the program director, to converse with the executive in residence, to the current student, whatever it is. You can simply write your question in the comment section on your Facebook. And our social media team will pick your question up and will route it to me, and inshallah I'm going to find the answers to your question. So SN, आपके पास आता हूं again, as I was mentioning before. How does this program meet the needs of the industry?
Thank you, Amar. This program is very unique in many ways. First of all, I think the curriculum, the case studies, they are very relevant to local as well as global trends that we see today. So here the faculty is fully specialized in talking about the latest trends in retail management and underpinning supply chain concepts. So different courses, how these courses have been designed, I think very careful planning has gone into the detail of designing the program, right from the strategic aspects to the operational aspects to day-to-day challenges that we face today. Also, I think the contemporary issues that we face today, the disruptions in supply chain due to a global pandemic like COVID and its impact on how organizations have to, modify their business model. So all these things, right from how an organization can pivot in uncertain times. So I think the entire faculty that is at work at Sdsb has done thorough working in designing the program. And when I look at the contents of the program, I find it completely aligned with what the industry needs are today. Like, for example, the entire supply chain design starts with the understanding of demand, how the customer looks at their needs, and how organizations should go, in the detail of understanding what the customer wants, and you estimate demand, and then from there everything else begins. So your supply chain has to be completely in sync and in design and in complete harmony with how the market is behaving. So that's one part. Then the material movement, that once you have your supply chain design in place, the material has to move, the information has to move, cash flows have to move. So the courses that are are kept in the program, right? They start from the fundamentals of business, and then they gradually move into basics of supply chain, and then it moves into the advanced level courses. And I think the program is excellent in terms of its alignment with the industry.
Thank you so much, SN. As you mentioned, before the program was introduced, all the different needs, all the different gaps that exist in the supply chain domain or in the industry in Pakistan, even outside of where all of them were considered, and we're trying to make sure that through our programs, the needs of the industries are being met. There are many other questions with regards to how industry and academia are aligned in the domain of supply chain and retail function. But before we go over there and ask you a bit more tough questions, I'm sorry to say that, by the way. I'm first going to go to Rabil. And Rabil, my question to you is, before joining this program, I'm sure you must have done your research. I'm sure you must have seen what different or similar programs were being offered at different other universities in Pakistan, even outside as well. So how has your experience been so far at LUMS, at SDSB? And how do you think this particular program is different from what's being offered at multiple other institutes?
Thank you, Amar. So I think that when you look for a master's degree, you want to go for something that is specific to what you want your career to progress, the direction your career want to progress in. And I think having worked in supply chain for 2 years, I realized that supply chain was something that I was very much interested towards and fascinated by the kind of challenges we face these days. And especially in the COVID times, we have seen how supply chains have become very important and need of the hour matter. So when I saw that LUMS was offering supply chain and retail management, this degree is, I think, being offered only in LUMS, the combination of supply chain with retail management. And that kind of made me look into the details and the structure, and then talk to a few people, and then finally decide that, yes, I wanted to go into this direction and get some knowledge from here. As far as I think universities abroad are considered, I think LUMS in Pakistan is one of the top universities. We have the same standard of education here and the same standard of faculty available here as we would have in any other part of the world. So why go abroad when you have same opportunities in your country? And then you also have, alongside with this degree, you can also have job opportunities and learning opportunities from your local market. So when you go abroad and you get a degree and you study there, you sometimes, many times, you can't bring those concepts and apply these here, right? When you study in the local market, and you, like SN Saab mentioned, that we're studying on the local material, we're studying about the local companies and the case studies. So all that incorporated together gives you a better perspective of the job market that you want to get into. Right. So I think that LUMS is a really good place to get all that knowledge from.
Exactly. Also, I'd like to take this opportunity and mention that आपने job opportunities की बात की. We try to make sure we're equipping you with skills that can easily land you a job soon as you graduate. It's not just jobs. You could also go and have your own entrepreneurial startup or anything that suits you. But LUMS maintains a 96 employability index, and we've also been top ranked by QS graduate employability rankings. So yeah, this is one of the accolades one of the rankings that we enjoy in Pakistan. Rabil, Dr. Jaja, before I come to you, I have a question for Rabil. Rabil, how rigorous is this program? And आपने Dr. Jaja से बिल्कुल भी नहीं घबराना इस वक्त. कितना मुश्किल बना देते हैं.
I think it's as rigorous as you want it to be, because it's designed for professionals. This degree is designed for professionals, and we have classes over the weekend. So you kind of get a lot of time you have a lot of time at your hand to like cover some materials outside the course, or the coursework on those days. But I believe that it also depends on it depends how your circumstances are aligned with this degree. A lot of people are working, and a lot of people are have their jobs aligned with this degree. So it really depends on you. For me, I think it's getting more and more interesting with every module. In the first module, we had foundation courses, which kind of built very good basics for the courses we are taking right now. And now we are getting a bit more specific industry knowledge. So it's interesting. It's going to be hard, obviously. If you want to get knowledge and education from best university in Pakistan, you have to be up to the mark as well.
Thank you for saying that, Rabi. We have the last wali baat ki the best university in Pakistan. This is something that I believe every day, and I'm sure this is a shared belief as well. Dr. Jaja, very quickly, if you could talk about the admissions criteria that we have put forth for this program, and also the way we have structured this program. So we say this is an executive program, but could you also elaborate on the executive nature of this program?
Yes, so Amar, the structure, I think I would take on that question first, because that's linked to the question that you asked from Rabil just now. So the structure is that there are 3 modules in which you take courses, and then the 4th module has a project. So the 3 modules, each module has 3 courses. And those courses are offered on alternative weekends, 2 days. I mean, there are 2 days of classes on alternative weekend. So therefore, you can align your job with this MS program. And as Rabil was saying, that if you are not doing job and you are doing this MS only, then the workload on you is different compared to a person who is working and doing this MS along with the job. So those 2 types of people we have in this program, the ones who are working and doing this MS, and the ones who are not doing job, I mean, they would be doing some other work also, but not a full-time job, and they are doing the master's program. So the structure and its impact on individuals is different, and how individuals align their workload. And the second question you asked about the admission requirement. So admission requirement is 16 years of education. We encourage and value and give weight to experience also in the admission criteria. Thirdly, there is admission test. You can take GMAT, GRE, or NTS admission test, which is called GAT. Fourthly, there is an interview, and in that interview, we try to gauge your experience, your academic background, and your future aspirations, and how you align with and you can contribute if you become part of the MS program students. So that's the interview. And also we look at the application package, because there is a lot other information that is given in the application package. So we look at that information also, other than the ones I've already pointed out. So this is how the admission criteria is developed. So I think I've covered the main aspects of the admission process or criteria.
Because you have, Dr. Jaja, thank you very much for that, by the way. The question we have got on social media has already been answered by Dr. Jaja. The question was, please let me know about the admission test requirements, which was asked by Fahad. So Fahad, again, you could either go for GRE, आप GMAT ले सकते हैं, और अगर आप दोनों नहीं चाहते तो आप NTS GAT भी दे सकते हैं. Just to let you know, there are no minimum scores that we have established. Dr. Jaja ने इसके अलावा भी बात की admission criteria की, so we have need to have 16 years of education. Again, आपने इन तीनों में से कोई एक exam दिया होना चाहिए आपको. You need to make sure you are sending us your complete application online. Everything is online, by the way. All the supporting documents have all to be are to be submitted online as well. And then there's interview process as well. Dr. Jaja, a question, especially for SDSB faculty, yeah, interview is the most important part of the whole admission process?
I would say that it is a very important part, but I think all other areas are also important. Your academic background, for example, we look at the academic strength of the candidate by looking at the quality of education and also the performance of the individual candidate in terms of grades, and also look at the nature of educational background. So for example, we want in our program that we have some engineers, some computer scientists, some business background people, economics, maybe social sciences also, because the area of supply chain and retail management is such that managers in this area are coming from very diverse backgrounds. So sometimes you have done maybe MSc in chemistry, and you happen to be buying for a chemical companies, and you are their buyer, or you are their supplier relationship manager or supplier manager. You are an engineer, you are working for Honda, and you are looking at supply chain or operations issues. You are a banker who is on the procurement side and are interested in understanding or learning more about supply chain issues. So you see, we look at the candidate's educational background and also the diversity that we want to bring in our program. So what is the additional value that this person will bring in the program if this person is added in the group of students? So what is that others can learn from this individual if this individual becomes part of the group? So that's a key important criteria. So I won't say that interview is the most, but I would say it's very important. You can say parameter, because if you disappoint in interview, people will start doubting your paper based application material. So, but if you endorse,
Exactly.
yeah. So I would say that the interview is an opportunity to endorse, to impress and establish what you have submitted in paper. So that's how you should be looking at the interview, and that's what the faculty is also looking at during the interview. So this is how the interview is.
I remember, Dr. Jaja, I think it was our last webcast last year, or maybe the one before that, you mentioned that interview is also an opportunity for the faculty and for the panelists to get some insight on the person with regards to, understanding whether what he is saying is matching with what he wrote when they were filling in their application. So yes, interview, again, as you mentioned, is one of the key components of the whole process. SN, if I were to put you in a situation where you were to hire one person out of the two applicants, एक MBA and एक one with an MS in supply chain retail management, both from LUMS. So who would you go for, and what would the reason be while selecting a certain candidate? SN, can you hear me, or should I repeat?
Yeah. There is
Okay.
bit of distortion, but I listen to you. Okay, I think हम specific skills को देख रहे होते हैं जब हम hiring कर रहे होते हैं. तो अगर मैं किसी supply chain की position के लिए hiring कर रहा हूँ, तो most definitely मेरी preference होगी कि मैं ऐसे individual को hire करूँ जिसकी supply chain में expertise है और knowledge domain उसकी strong है. और knowing LUMS में जिस तरह से प्रोजेक्ट्स करवाए जाते हैं, जिस तरह से आपको केस स्टडीज करवाई जाती हैं, और उसके अलावा और भी बेतहाशा डिफरेंट लर्निंग व्हीकल्स हैं जो यहाँ पे यूज होती हैं, सिमुलेशंस होती हैं, और फिर रिटन एनालिसिस ऑफ केस होते हैं, एंड स्टूडेंट्स आर ऑन देयर टोज ऑल द टाइम. तो आप इंडस्ट्री टूर्स कर रहे होते हैं, और जो इंडस्ट्री के लोग होते हैं, गेस्ट स्पीकर्स आ रहे होते हैं, वो आके अपने एक्सपीरियंसेस शेयर कर रहे होते हैं. जो प्रोजेक्ट्स आप करते हैं उसमें एक्सपीरियंशियल लर्निंग का कंपोनेंट काफी ज्यादा होता है. तो ऑल दीज थिंग्स मेक यू a far superior candidate with domain knowledge, with industry exposure, with specific problem solving techniques. क्योंकि सप्लाई चेन में और रिटेल में हमें ऑप्टिमाइजेशन के ऊपर बहुत काम करना होता है, इन्वेंट्री मैनेजमेंट के ऊपर बहुत काम करना होता है. इवन अगर बड़े स्टोर्स आप मैनेज कर रहे हैं, जैसे आजकल बिग बॉक्स रिटेलर्स का हम देखते हैं कि बहुत ज्यादा ट्रेंड है मार्केट के अंदर, तो वहां पे इवन इन स्टोर लॉजिस्टिक्स बहुत क्रिटिकल डायमेंशन होती है कि मटेरियल मूवमेंट इतनी ज्यादा होती है, आपने शेल्फ्स को फिल करना है, शेल्फ्स में ऑप्टिक तेज हो रही है, तो कैसे आप इंश्योर करते हैं कि प्रोडक्ट अवेलेबिलिटी, शेल्फ अवेलेबिलिटी जो कि ट्रांसलेट होती है सेल्स में और प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी में, उसको आप कैसे टाइमली मैनेज करते हैं. तो ओवर टाइम दीज थिंग्स हैव बिकम स्पेशलाइज्ड नॉलेज, इट हैज बिकम नॉट जस्ट ए लेमैन्स वर्क. और एमबीए में, मैं एमबीए को क्रिटिसाइज नहीं कर रहा हूँ, एमबीए के अपने बेनिफिट्स हैं, बट MS Supply Chain and Retail Management is a very focused master's program. और अगर मार्केट के अंदर आप देखें जिस तरह से ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस अब ट्रांसफॉर्म हो रही हैं और सप्लाई चेन एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट फंक्शन बन गया, और अगर आप शॉपिंग का शौक रखते हैं तो आप मार्केट में बाहर निकलें तो आपको रिटेलर्स ही नजर आते हैं। तो रिटेल एक इतना बड़ा कंपोनेंट है कि हर बिजनेस की जो टर्मिनेशन है वो जाके रिटेल के अंदर होती है। अगर कोई एयर कंडीशनर मैन्युफैक्चर कर रहा है तो वो रिटेल आउटलेट पे बिकना है, अगर कोई गाड़ी मैन्युफैक्चर कर रहा है तो वो रिटेल आउटलेट पे जाके सेल होनी है, अगर आप कोई कंज्यूमर पैकेज गुड प्रोडक्ट बना रहे हैं, नेस्ले ऑफ द वर्ल्ड और यूनिलीवर्स ऑफ द वर्ल्ड, ये जो भी चीजें बनाएंगे दे विल एंड अप इन सम रिटेल आउटलेट। तो इसलिए रिटेलिंग भी ओवर टाइम बहुत कंपेटिटिव हो चुकी है, रिटेलिंग बहुत ज्यादा एडवांस हो गई है, और जिस तरह से अब लेटेस्ट ट्रेंड्स आ रहे हैं ई कॉमर्स को अगर आप ले लें, और जैसे जैसे दुनिया में भी और पाकिस्तान में भी लेबर एक्सपेंसिव होती चली जा रही है, तो ऑटोमेशन बहुत ज्यादा आ रही है। तो ऑटोमेशन के लिए लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल मैं देख रहा हूँ कि ये कुछ महीनों की बात है, पाकिस्तान में आपको यानी सेल्फ चेकआउट्स मिलेंगे, और इन सेल्फ चेकआउट्स को कैसे मैनेज करना है इसके पीछे पूरी एक साइंस है। सो ये सारी चीजें जो हैं जॉब्स को बहुत ज्यादा स्पेसिफिक बना रही हैं, और उसके लिए जो आपको मैनेजर्स चाहिए, उसके लिए जो आपको लीडर्स चाहिए, उनके लिए डोमेन नॉलेज होना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। तो इफ यू आस्क मी दिस क्वेश्चन, मेरी प्रेफरेंस तो क्लियरली बिटवीन द एमबीए एंड एमएस सप्लाई चेन एंड रिटेल, और अगर मैं हायरिंग रिटेल और सप्लाई चेन के लिए कर रहा हूँ तो मेरी प्रेफरेंस बिल्कुल एमएस सप्लाई चेन और रिटेल मैनेजमेंट होगी।
पर्सन दैट स्पेसिफिक एरिया, बिल्कुल आपकी जैसे आपने बताया, और जैसे आप बात कर रहे थे कि सेल्फ चेकआउट होगा, और अभी जैसे कि हम ई टैगिंग फंक्शन में भी अब ये देखते हैं कि मतलब इट्स पर्सनलेस, और टेक्नोलॉजी का बहुत बड़ा रोल है इसके अंदर। सो इसके बाद इंशाल्लाह I'm gonna go to Dr. Jetta, and मैं टेक्नोलॉजी की उनके इस पे देख लेता हूँ कि how technology is involved in the teaching of this program. But before I go over there, Rabil, to create some relevance with the people who are listening to us right now, could you talk about your own academic background and also even professional background?
Well, I have done my bachelor's from IBA. I graduated in 2017 with a degree of bachelor's in business administration. I had my major in marketing, and I had taken some courses of supply chain back then as well. Then I went ahead and worked in for some time in agility logistics. There I kind of discovered the domain of supply chain and logistics, and as I got into it, I got more and more interested in it, and I wanted to know more about it. So after that, I went ahead and applied at Demco Logistics, which is which used to be a subsidiary of Maersk, but now it's a part of Maersk only. So it's called Maersk combined together. So I worked for 2 years there as a third-party logistics in the Department of Supply Chain and Supply Chain Management, where we used to be the key connecting the clients like Walmart, Levi's, Target, Adidas, who are sourcing from Pakistan, and vendors like Masood Textile, US Apparel, Chris and Bowman, and other textile companies. So I worked there for 2 years, and yeah, so I was kind of always very fascinated by how supply chain has become so integral in connecting, and with the globalization and the rise in the need for customer demand for a different kind of variety that's available around the world. So for that, we have to we supply chain people have become the key element of this entire process. So yeah, so from there, and then I'm here in MS SCRM because I want to understand more about it, and then I want to get back into the field with this knowledge at hand.
So we see you are on the road to becoming an expert with, mashallah, a very good academic record and then professional time. Yeah, we are sure. Yeah. So inshallah, I'm sure Dr. Jaja and SN must be. Dr. Jaja, my question to you would be if you could kindly explain the whole, funding opportunities that exist at Sdsb for anyone who plans on applying to the MSS CRM program.
Yeah, so Amar, you also talked about technology and its usage in
Oh,
our
yes.
MS program. So I think it's important that I bring that out, that our classes are executed like this, that on one alternative weekend, the classes are in person. On the other alternative weekend, the classes are online. So which basically means that in 4 weeks, you have to come to campus for 2 days, and the other 2 days you are studying online. So that kind of opens up this program for people from very far, who live very far or work very far from Lahore, such as in Karachi or Hyderabad or Peshawar, or cities which are far from Lahore or from LUMS. So, and also there are exercises and simulation which are computer based, and they also use technology to create the learning experience for students. So there are many simulations that they do on computer. So that creates, those are programmed already, made experiences in computer and online. So that's how the simulation experience is created and managed for students. You also talked about the scholarships and funding opportunities. So funding opportunities, some of the funding opportunities are very, very clear, obvious. Number one, if you get admitted and you are a female, you get 50% discount on your fee right away. And that's because we want to encourage participation of females in our graduate programs. So that's number one. Number two is that there are, in MS program, there are merit scholarships also. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, 3 students in every MS program get 50% fee discount
Almost, I
based on
guess.
their, yes, top 3 students in any MS program in the admission ranking get the 50% discount in fee. Third is I think that's the loan part. So admissions office, or there's an office at LUMS that will connect you with the MCB loan arrangement, and then you can source or finance your program by taking loan from MCB. And I think that's a low interest loan, and you can pay back once you have graduated and you started working. So that's the third opportunity for financing your MS program. There might be more, but currently these are the ones on top of my mind.
Primarily, these are the ones. So yes, Dr. Jaja, just say aapne kaha, we have a women's scholarship at Sdsb, which means that regardless of the graduate program that you are enrolling at Sdsb, if you are a female candidate and you're accepted at LUMS, that particular program, you will get a 50% scholarship right away. Then again, there are merit scholarships available that are specific to the MS programs, and you could also go for the option of getting a loan to finance your program, and that will be arranged through the Muslim Commercial Bank. And all of this information is, by the way, available on our website. So please make sure, if you are interested in learning about how to finance your academic journey at LUMS, there are multiple ways to do that, and we love to say it, that if you are committed with what you want to do, and if you have a very certain idea of how LUMS can actually help you get there where you want to be, finances are no obstructions at all, because we are there to help you. So in addition to that, I have a question that has come from our viewers watching on social media. Asad's asking, does this program enable graduates to be more practical, or does it benefit in terms of research? So Essen, I'd first like to go to you, and then again to Dr. Jaja for the same question.
So I think this program has both the dimensions. There is academic rigor. There is a component of research also. And then there is, since the last semester is based on projects, and those projects will be very extensive industry projects. I think Dr. Jaja will elaborate further on it, but my sense is that that project can be converted into a case study that will be published. So, or can be published. So this is how it has research focus, it has practical industry focus. And since we use that case study methodology and we use it very extensively, so and and I think anyone who has got experience of case study, they would agree with me that it's like, it's a different way of learning altogether. You learn from the facts and figures in the case. That also gives you an understanding and an in-depth understanding of the industry and the players that operate in that industry and the dynamics of the industry. Then you learn from the faculty, and then you learn from your peers. And all of this makes it very closer to practical learning. It's like, I mean, it's not exactly, but it's very close to as if you are working in that organization. So a case study, and the cases that we use here in Harvard are not, here in LUMS are not 2-3 pages cases. These are 30, 40 pages cases backed by 3-4 readings that are also about, if you take one session, it's about 100 pages of reading. So you do that reading and you have to spend like hours and hours into that reading and understanding what is happening and making connections. And the way the classes run and the way instructors, facilitate the whole process is that you need to, go into the detail of what is happening, what are the dynamics, and you have to connect things together. And at the end of the case study session, a typical case study taught at LUMS will keep you thinking that, wow, what has happened in those 1.5 hours? It's like a roller coaster ride. And once that session is done and the things that, go into the learning process, I mean, at least I used to be amazed that what kind of learning is this? At times, months and months of work that you do at a job, like a multinational firm or any national level firm, you don't get that kind of learning that comes out of you, because what's happening, there are about 25 odd participants into the session, and they have years of experience, and many of them, when you are discussing a case, are actually of that industry. So if you are having a case on, let's say, grocery retail, so you will find your peers about right, left and right of you in the class who have years of experience into grocery retail. And if you are, let's say, discussing a case on automobiles, then you have your peers, 1 or 2 who have experience of automobile. And then you see all of this makes things very rich. So to me, it's like research focused, it's industry focused, it's practical applied knowledge, and then participant based learning. So all of this gives it a different, level of learning altogether.
It has a huge horizon to it. So Dr. Jaja, again, coming to you with the same question, more practical in terms of, connecting with industry, or more research focused? And another question after that, somebody who wants to pursue a PhD program, is it possible with this degree later?
Yes, so Amar, I will just complement what SN has said. SN has already elaborated how teaching happens in this program. I will just give you one example to what SN has said, to add to what SN said. So in a typical class, during the coursework, you will be discussing cases, or you will be going through different simulations or exercises on specific topics. So one typical case class may be that there is a case on TCS. TCS is a courier and logistics company, as we all know, in Pakistan. And you have been given a detailed description of what TCS has been doing in the last 30-40 years, how TCS began, how did they develop capabilities, how their logistics network works, how their product portfolio has evolved over the years, what their current management looks like, what are their future aspirations. And in that context, you have been given a decision that should we launch this product, let's say, called Hazir Sab Kuch. So that's a product, should we be launching that product or not? And now, to analyze that decision or that situation, you have to understand that what kind of logistics will be required, what kind of people will be required, what kind of suppliers will be required, how this product will be marketed, how this promise with the customers will be managed, how the execution will happen, what kind of glitches will come in, how can you overcome those issues, I mean, so that, and 90 minutes you are talking about that case and that organization. So that, as Esan was saying, that maybe, you know, you have been working in TCS for 6 months or maybe 3 months, only then you might be able to get that much richness to understand all those aspects of TCS. And, you know, somehow the research done by the faculty members have packed those 3 months or 6 months of, you know, that research into that 90 minutes. It is not naturally, you know, if you're spending 6 months there, you would be learning many other things also. But, you know, this, on this topic, somebody has captured everything and brought to you in 90 minutes. So that's what I think what Hassan was meaning to say when he was saying that, you know, you spend 2 years or 1 year or 6 months in a company and then you learn something, and you learn here very quickly when in our pedagogy. Now, if you look at this pedagogy, it has both elements. It has elements of knowing the subject, knowing the content, knowing the theoretical frameworks, and it also has elements of behavior, that how do you analyze things, how you approach the problem, how do you think about different stakeholders, and how do you make your course of action. So it has both elements. It has elements of knowing the concept, and it has elements of going about the action. Now, if I connect this with research, this type of understanding that you get in the coursework gives you the power that you can do applied research in your fourth semester project. The nature of the research is, I mean, since this is an individual's projects, one individual student will do the project. There is a lot of flexibility and a lot of customization that the student can do for himself, herself, that what kind of research they want to do in that MS project. It can be purely problem solving kind of research. It can be applied research and scholarship, such as writing or, you know, doing some work that can lead into a case or a case study. It can lead into a journal article. It depends on you what kind of research focus you want to have there. Some of the students will be naturally pursuing non-academic careers in the industry. So, and perhaps most of them would be pursuing that type of career. So they would be picking up the project or the problem, and their nature of work will be such that it helps them develop their career. Some of them might be interested in doing PhD, so they can take that route and make their project more academic research oriented, so that it can help them or and expose them to academic research that they can pursue later on when they enter into PhD. As far as the admission requirement is concerned, for PhD program, you will do MS program from here. So MS program certainly can feed into PhD programs in LUMS and also in other universities.
Of course, बिल्कुल सही. Thank you so much, Dr. Jaja. आपने काफी डिटेल में explain कर दिया. I have got another question, which is also the last question in today's program, and that is from Shahir, and he's asking which undergraduate fields are relevant to MS supply chain and management program. So I know you have already talked at length about students and people, executives joining from different industries, different backgrounds. But if you could just one more time go over and talk about the undergraduate fields with which people can apply for the program.
Yes, so Amar, this program can seeks interest from people who look at supply chain issues, if they are working already, or they want to make a career in supply chain management or retail management. And if you look at people who are working in that area, there are lawyers there who have to manage contracts, who have to do procurement, who have to do buying. There are engineers there who are, I mean, obvious to understand, they are in the manufacturing industry or similar, I mean, even non-manufacturing industry where procurement or supply chain issues are there. There might be even social scientists who have, or I would say that who have background in humanities or social sciences, and they have somehow made their career in supply chain, and they are already working on supply chain positions, or they are pursuing, they want to make a career there. I mean, they are the ones. It can be business background people who are in let's say retail or supply chain or vendor management or operations, or even sometimes marketing also, so they can come into this program, so and so on. So I don't think so that your academic background is a bar in entering in this program. So you can come from various different backgrounds and take a role in supply chain and retail management positions.
So again, you could have like, I mean, be from a variety of industries, variety of academic backgrounds, and then you could still find relevance in the supply chain and retail management program that is being offered at LUMS. Thank you so much, Rabil, for giving us your insights. Thank you so much, Essen, for talking about the industry and the connection with the academia. And thank you so much, Dr. Jaja, as always.
Amar, on this point,
Gigi, please.
I just want to say, maybe Rabil, you can quickly call out the companies that your class fellows are currently working and also the academic background they have. So Rabil can quickly name a few companies and quickly also recall the academic undergraduate background she has. So that can give some sense of what kind of variety we have in our undergraduate education.
That would be super. Rabil, if you could just share.
Yeah, sure. So we do have a lot of different people from different backgrounds, and a lot of people are working currently in, we have people from shoe manufacturing industry, then we have people from textile, we have people from pharmaceuticals who are currently working there, and we have engineers in our class. We have people who have business background. And by the way, I would like to mention that even if you do not have a business background, before you enter into this degree, LUMS, before the MS program starts, they offer you foundation courses. So even when you do not have a knowledge of economics, accounting, or relevant subjects, you are provided with foundation courses over the summer and before this MS program starts. So you already build that foundation, and then you go ahead and start your MS program without that kind of difficulty. And first module is already designed in a way that it sort of gets you set into the pace before you slide into this, let's say, supply chain direction. So it's not like that the degree will move from from the starting, it'll move with that speed in this direction. So it's been taken care of in and made sure that anyone who comes from any background is taken up to the pace first, and then taken into the direction of supply chain and operations. So currently we do have people from different backgrounds and industries. Like I mentioned that, different parts of Pakistan. A lot of people are working in different cities. So we have people working from coming from KPK and Chashma and Islamabad. There's this one person in our class who's working in Chashma power plant. So yeah, so we do have kind of great variety when it comes to the knowledge base and the backgrounds people have come from. So it's not need to worry when it comes to building the foundation, because it's been taken care of in this degree.
I think one of the reasons that, I mean, people from different areas could also join is also the way this program has been structured. Like, you're just joining us on alternate weekends, and one of the weekends is in-person classes, and then the other alternate weekend is online classes, and then you can manage and you can work. And thank you so much for sharing your insights with us with regards to.
I think, one more thing, I think in the end, I would like to add that it's also in terms of the age brackets that we have, it's also diverse in that area as well. So we get to learn from people who have, let's say, 10 years of 15 years of industry knowledge. And then there are people like me who have, let's say, 4 years of work experience, and then we have fresh graduates as well. So we have very diverse kind of age bracket and the number of years of experience. So this degree, I think, is for anyone and everyone who is interested in supply chain, regardless of the fact how much of experience you have or what background you come from.
Again, thank you so much, Rabil. So yeah, आपके different age brackets आप हो सकते हैं, different academic backgrounds से हो सकते हैं, professional backgrounds से हो सकते हैं, and you will still find a lot of value in the MS Supply Chain and Retail Management program that is offered at Sdsb. Once again, thank you so much, Rabil. Thank you so much, Essen and Dr. Jaja, for being with us today. Tomorrow, inshallah, as I mentioned in the beginning of the program, we will have our webcast for business and public policy. The day after, it's healthcare management and innovation. And on Friday, we'll see you for technology management and entrepreneurship program. Also, I'd like to let you know that a lot of program related information, a lot of admissions related information is available on our website. So please make sure you're browsing www.lums.edu.pk and also create your account right now. You could always think about submitting it, but since it's a bit of a lengthy procedure, so it's better to create your account right now. Make yourself familiar with what the fields are over there, what we require in terms of documents, in terms of other things. And if you have any question with regards to the application portal or the admissions or the financial assistance, please use the Ask Admissions button, which you will find on the top right corner of your application portal. Here you will be able to, converse like a chat between a person and a Facebook, and another person is maintained on Facebook. So a chat between you and a representative of the admissions office will be maintained through that portal. And yeah, thank you very much for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow as well. Take good care of yourselves. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you, Amar. Khuda Hafiz, everyone.